BJ O'Neill here with the Business Coaching Success Podcast. So glad you're here, where I share with you strategies, tools, and tips to be able to grow your business coaching practice to six figures and beyond as a Christian business coach. Let's jump in. Well, welcome. Glad that you are here on this episode of the Business Coaching Success Podcast. Maybe you're in a situation right now, you want flexibility, you want to work for yourself, you want to spend more time with your family, you love purpose, passion as a Christ follower and a believer. And when it comes to business coaching, but you just don't know where to start, you don't have the tools and resources, and you don't want to create them, and you're curious about what a turnkey solution looks like, you can go to businesscoachmastery.com. That's businesscoachmastery.com. All kinds of information there that you can get. You can even schedule a chat if you would like to talk about it as well. So, how do you develop a scalable business coaching model? How do you develop a scalable business coaching model? Real quick, out of the gate. If you are brand new into coaching, or you're thinking about it and you're praying about it and you're processing it, do not spend a ton of time trying to dream up how you can scale from $0 to $1 million. Now, yes, we have to make plans. I'm a big believer in that. If you've listened to any of my podcasts or trainings, I talk about that all the time. But let me be clear though. Getting out there and getting the first few clients matters more than anything. And oftentimes, as we spend time building relationships, we're getting clients, we're coaching them, and so on. Many things come into fruition because you're starting to recognize things that you didn't know. You don't know what you don't know, and until you go do it, you won't know. So don't get distracted by dreaming way too big yet when you don't even have a client. I'm a big believer in BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals, absolutely. But until you've got traction, you don't want to slow yourself down and make it any harder. Okay? So there's that. So the first thing is, as we are building the coaching practice, what does scalable even mean? And how do we develop a scalable business model? So there's several different layers here. One, there's one-on-one coaching. You're sitting down, you're working directly with a business owner and or their team. That is one-to-one. You have 2 to 3 coaching sessions per month on an ongoing fashion every month. That's one-to-one. Then you have group coaching. And there's multiple ways to do group coaching. You can do just like one-on-one, except for it's group style, to where every week you have a coaching call. You've got 5 people on there, 10 people on there, 15 people on there, whatever. Obviously, they're paying a lesser price or rate than a one-to-one model. And then you might offer a single call with them once a quarter or whatever. There's really no one wrong way to do that. It really needs to fit within what you want for your life. Okay? There is courses. There's creating courses for your coaching program where people are going through it on their own. And you charge a flat fee or a monthly subscription model. I will tell you, my opinion only, anything that you do today in building a coaching business should fall underneath what we call MRR, monthly reoccurring revenue. It is sustainable. If you've got multiples of clients and 1 or 2 cancels this month, you still got money coming in. If you create things on course base only, in the course community right now is really going through this upheaval even as we speak. If you're doing flat fees like $9.97 or whatever, then you're constantly having to resell every single month versus selling the product where it's ongoing. Just my opinion. You certainly can do what you want, right? And then there's what we call micro coaching or flash coaching. It's the ability, it's like a downsell. It's the ability to coach people in micro moments. They're doing 90% of the work on their own, but they do have some access to you. So there's some examples. There's other ones too, but those are the bigger ones. Examples of putting together those pieces first, right? So that's the reason why I said in the very beginning, you want to go out and get several clients first before any of the other stuff matters. That's the one-to-one coaching part. That's where you can go out in this month and get 2 to 3 clients, charge the average of $2,000. Now you've got some pretty decent income coming in. And then as time goes, you begin to determine what you really want for your coaching business. So the easy way to look at it for today, like if you're just processing, look, I want to really scale. Maybe you've been coaching for a year or two, you've got 5 or 6 clients, you're starting to feel like, I'm earning a decent living, but what does it look like if I really were to put gas on this thing? Does that mean I have to spend more to one-to-one time? Not necessarily. And so if it's me, I'm going to begin that group model. What's like inside of and you may say, well, how does that work? Well, like you either got to go build that on your own, or like use an organization like us where we give you group coaching software to run a group and to teach content out of that group. We even give you the content in our group, but you can also use your own content as well, both, to make it a hybrid. Doesn't matter what you want to do. That gives you the ability. It's kind of somewhat endless to some degree, except for I'm also a fan of saying I'm only going to let 12 people in this group. That gives some scarcity to it. That does control the numbers a little bit. But you could also, ramp that up to having 25 people in there. And then you're charging in a group somewhere usually monthly between usually $297 a month and $997 a month. Sometimes higher if you're giving some one-on-one time. Right now I'm referring to not giving any one-on-one time. So you got your one-on-one, you begin to do your group, and what a lot of coaches will begin to do is they begin to, as they're building their relationships, as you're building your connections and referrals and whatnot, they put them into the group first and then into one-on-one. Typically harder to start that way, but that's the way a lot of people will flip, because you're able to usually work with a lot more people at the group level, and that way you're able to charge even more, because those people they're hearing from you, they like you, they're seeing the results, they're seeing value, and because of that premium that you charge on your one-to-one, you typically can get more for it. And I would argue you do a little bit more for them. Now you're able to really start to control your time. Okay? So you're developing a model in that way, and you just got to work through it. I can't stress enough how many times it's the kind of the beautiful part about the coaching journey. You have the opportunity to be nimble. Not that you want to just change all the time, but you are going to adjust as you learn. You don't have 50 different people to, get in the way, and where it feels like the Titanic, you can make some nimble choices for yourself. The next thing is leveraging technology and systems. Now, we're talking about scaling, right? You can't scale without tools, you can't scale without technology, and you can't scale without systems. So inside of a scalable model, you must have very specific step-by-step systems. How you go about getting clients, how you go about securing and converting them, and how you're going to coach them. You must have a scalable system to do that. Okay? Whether you create it or you work with somebody else. You got to have it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to scale. It's too messy. Trust me. Been there, done that. Doesn't work. But you got to leverage it. In addition to that, you continue to leverage other technology. So, for instance, Zoom is a leverageable piece. We're able to coach with people anywhere in the world. That's leveraging technology. ChatGPT and AI. If you're coaching, you better be learning. I understand there's trepidation to it, but I hate to say it this way, but those who spend time worried about that, they're going to be left in the dust. You can leverage it. We leverage it with content on just helping us structure, emails, helping us structure podcasts like this right here. It just gives us research, great research tool. That's leveraging that. Matter of fact, right now as we speak, brand new OpenAI has created, who knows what it's going to look like, but a new tool from them. It's called an operator, an AI operator. It'll essentially be able to go do tasks and functions on your behalf on the internet through a browser. And you can go and Google it for a demo. It's pretty crazy. But you can look at that and if, again, go back to, we're trying to scale a business. We're trying to be efficient with it. And we want to be able to harness the power of it. Well, if you've got data entry type stuff, there looks like there's going to be an opportunity to leverage ChatGPT and its operator and being able to do for today, it's probably just basic data form functionality, but we all know things advance, so who knows where that's going to go. Okay? So if you're not leveraging systems and tools, I'm just going to tell you right now, and if you don't like systems and tools and you don't like structure, scaling is just not for you. It will just be way too difficult. You've got to leverage them, the ones that make sense for building your business. And then the last point is a team and a community at some level, okay? And there's different structures. I'll give you a couple of bigger ones just to think about that you can process and pray about when the time is right for you. So an entryway for a lot of coaches is using VAs, virtual assistants, meaning they're going to do repetitive tasks to help you get your job done. Usually accounting, content, just the boring tasks we don't like. That's amazing men and women all over the world, provide that functionality, all right? And then they either it expands or you get specialty ones that work on websites. You get specialty ones that might edit a podcast or a video, whatever. The point is that engaging with VAs is really important. As you grow, you might end up hiring an actual person, especially in accounting is the big one that you got to cover off. It's like let somebody else do that part. It makes a huge difference. And or you can also leverage your community, your coaching community. So if you are doing group coaching or even one-on-one for that matter, but if you're doing group coaching especially, and there's 2 or 3 people in there that, and you really have a lot of like-mindedness with them. And great relationship. They see things the way you do. It's a good, you're on the same page. They may be also able to do some of the function and you reduce their fees for things that they're going to provide. Could be part of the sales conversation, could be part of the coaching. Or maybe maybe they're a technical person and they're able to leverage some of their experiences with helping you with yours. Whether it's all VA work, whether you're hiring employees, although I would argue that's the last thing that you do in the scalable thing. It may come into place at some point, but today with ChatGPT, with VAs, and with coaching partners, there's a lot you can do, and you can really earn a high income before you ever actually have to have a full dedicated employee. But you know what? You do it the way you want to do it. But the point, you will have to have help. There's actually a book. It's Who Not How. And my mindset perspective and philosophy, I wish that I had really understood that 15, 20 years ago. I wish I had really kind of got that idea, because no questions asked, being vulnerable for a moment, is because I can do a lot on my own and did for so many years as a coach. It does put you in this position that I don't need anybody else. I can do it myself. That's a limiting factor. That will not help you scale at all. It doesn't give you any place to have space. It doesn't give you any place to be able to even think. And what will happen is you'll hit John Maxwell talks about the law of the lid. And we typically hit that lid way earlier than what we think we can. Capacity, in most cases, we don't have near the capacity that we think that we do. In almost every case, at least in my experience. So there you go. Got to have a team. You got to leverage tools and technology. And by far, you have to develop a scalable model that fits within what you want out of life. You don't want to, if you're bringing a lot of complexity trying to do this might not be your lane. You know what I mean? That's the reason why efficiency matters. Think about that first in the beginning. As you start to build, efficiency matters. If you're looking for more flexibility, but you build a scalable model where you're working 60 hours a week, yeah, you're working for yourself and you don't have a boss and you are building your own dream. That's true. But if flexibility was part of your why, then you just got to be cautious as you build a scalable model, because I'm telling you, quickly, you can find yourself working all the time if you're not careful. So do it cautiously. Do it cautiously. And the moment it starts to pinch the flexibility, that means that it's time. That's the lid. It's time to examine where you're at to be able to move forward in that efficient manner to still fulfill the dreams that you have that God's placed inside you. Okay? Until next time, take care.